Hey everybody, Christina here from Creations with Christina. We're going to do a fun card today using a mask, and I have some white cardstock adhered down to my craft mat here using some washi tape. This is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of Whisper white cardstock, and then my mask here is from the Stars and Stripes mask set. So I am going to adhere this down to my craft mat as well so it doesn't slide all over the place where I'm trying to ink up my mask. I'm going to use some Blushing Bride ink along with a little sponge dauber, and we're just going to go ahead and fill in all of these little hearts. Alright, so I have my hearts filled in, and I'll tell you the masks do a little number on your daubers, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to grab a kind of damp baby wipe and wipe down my mask just to get that ink off, because the next thing I'm going to do is take some Versamark ink. I'm going to dab this into my mask here to push that ink into the heart cutouts. And then what I'm going to do next is just pull up this mask because we're not going to need this anymore. Alright, so now that I have my mask pulled off, I'm going to take some iridescent ice embossing powder, which is a really pretty glittery embossing powder, and I'm going to shake this up a little bit just to make sure all the glitter's around in there so it's not all clumped in any section. And then I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this onto the Versamark, which is right over all those little hearts that we did. Alright, I finished embossing my heart, and I love the shine that the iridescent ice embossing powder gives to this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. We are going to be putting this onto some black cardstock. So that cardstock is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut this to be 1/4 inch smaller than that. So we're going to do 3 3/4, and then 5 inches. And I'm going to cut the 5 inches from the top part here. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I have some little letter die cuts. They're from the Little Letters and the File Tab set. So I pulled out the HB for Happy Birthday, and the 2 from the File Tab, and then U. So we're going to do HB to U. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up onto my front of my card. I'm going to take my washi tape and adhere it in place. And then we'll run this through our die cut machine. So when you're pulling back your washi tape, just be careful that you don't rip some of your cardstock. I just kind of ripped a little piece of it, so I'm just going to try to be careful. I ripped off that little corner right there. Alright, so when I was tearing off my washi tape, I ripped a little piece of my heart, so I'm just going to take my little Zig 2-way glue pen, and you won't even know that I ripped up a piece of that paper. So I'm just going to pull these other dies out, and then we are going to go ahead and add some dimensionals to the back of this because we are going to pop it up onto our card front. Alright, so I used a lot of foam adhesive on the back of this because I know with the embossing that I just did, it got a little bit warped. So I'm just peeling the backing off, and I also want to add a couple of extra smaller pieces of foam tape around my sentiment so that I know that is not going to get crushed or anything if I should mail this card. So I'm going to add a couple extra pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and take my cutout piece here that I added the adhesive or the dimensionals to the back, and then add this to some black cardstock, which is 4 by 5 1/4. We're just going to go ahead and adhere that down. And then the next thing I want to do is just add some white seam binding to this. And then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take some linen thread. I'm going to cut off a piece here and then tie this also to that bow. It gives that white seam binding with a white background a little bit more pop to it. And I'm just going to tie that into a bow right on top of that other bow. This then will get adhered to my card front, which is the standard A2 size card. And I am just going to go ahead and add some adhesive to the back of this. And then this will get adhered to the front of my card base, which is a standard A2 size card. So that is our card for today. I hope you liked today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. And I really love how that iridescent ice gives a nice pop to those little hearts that we did with the stencil. Thanks for watching, and as always, the list of supplies will be down below and over on my blog if you want to check them out. See you next time.